Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Working Remotely. My name is Mickey, and I work at Zoho, and I am very excited to have Ramon Ray here with us to tell us some of his tips for remote work. Ramon is going to give us a little intro. Ramon, how you doing?
Hey, Mickey, thanks for having me, man. I am fantastically well. Of course, we're all in challenging times, but I feel great. Yeah, as you said, Mickey, real short, 10 seconds or less. Well, probably 12 seconds. But Ramon Ray, entrepreneur, started a few companies, small companies, sold two of them, author of several books, latest a Celebrity CEO, all about personal branding. And as you kind of know, I'm a speaker, event producer, and more. So that's a little bit about me. Every Saturday morning, give or take, sometimes I slip to Sundays. I love 3 burnt pancakes with 5 slices of bacon and 2 glasses of cold milk and a lot of high fructose corn syrup. So beyond that, that's me. I feel great, and I'm happy to be here and serve the Zoho community and beyond.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And that actually sounds delicious right now, but I'll have to put that aside. So, like you just said, most of your, or a lot of your time is spent on the road and traveling. And sort of things are closed now. People are not having conferences, there's no speaking
Yep.
engagements. So, how has your day to day changed in regards to spending more time working from home and sort of creating a schedule for yourself?
Yeah, and for me, I think I happen to excel at that. That's my world, and I'm happy to share, what I do and some tips that I help. But I think the big change for me personally has been, of course, since I'm not traveling, not going out there as much, you're just inside more. So before, where I didn't have a time of day that would end, over the last 2 weeks or so, I pretty much ended about 5 or 6. Sometimes it goes longer, but meaning before I could, it's hard to explain, but I may have a meeting in New York City. I live in the New York City area. I'm meeting in New York City, so I'm leaving to that meeting at 8, or it was just different. But now, since I'm really at home the entire time, wake up at 6 a.m., do some push ups, devotions, eat my granola and apple and other things, and I'm working about 5, 6, 7. You notice I added 2 more hours there. 5, 6, 7
Yeah.
days over, I sit back and watch some movies and spend time with my family. So kind of that's how the day goes, and the other tips I can share as we go along if you like.
Yeah, sure. So, if you could just give us a little overview of what your home setup is, and maybe a couple must-haves for you when working from home.
Sure. Would you like me to start with the weird or the regular?
Weird, please.
Okay. so since this is not tech and no competition with Zoho,
Yeah.
I have every person should have a Burt's Bees chapstick. This is a must. Burt's Bees chapstick. That's one. Because you talk a lot on the phone, all this thing. 2, I definitely have a trusty bottle of water. It's filled there. And when this goes out, because I believe in hydration, I have a whole jug. So that's that. 2, definitely I have lighting here. Depends on what I'm doing. Oftentimes I don't need it because my camera's good, but you can see here I could add more light to myself if needed. I think that's important. I think the chair you have is good. Go down or you can go up. So those are a few things for me that are very important. You can see here this mic right here. It's pretty good. Some people have the earbuds and all that, which you can do. But as one who's a content producer, having a microphone that kind of sounds like NPR, the company that helps you go, I kind of have that. And then the rest you can just kind of tour the office and see. I have a traditional printer. I have my books. I have a bear there and all kind of things back there. So for me, I think it's important. And I do share an office. So on that side is Mrs. Ray's office, my wife, her office over there. And this little Faux,
Hmm.
fancy word for fake, wall. And so that's my little space here. But it's comfortable. It works well. Yeah, trash cans there, and I can pretty much reach what I need to do for my type of work.
Can
I'm
you
a
hear
knowledge
each
worker.
other through the wall? Is there any sort of sound bleeding between the wall?
Oh yeah, well this is just even this only goes through half the office. So, but her work that she does, she's not in there all the time. So it's when she needs to. But yeah, no, it's I can see her and touch her if I need to. It's a small little square.
So, can you tell me the last time, I guess, you worked in an office, or how long you've been working remotely?
Oh yeah. So I think for some people, you read the headlines are freaking out like, oh, we're working remotely. Wow. Oh, I mean, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So yes, I've worked remotely, Mickey, for ages and ages and ages. Haven't worked in a traditional office for many, many years. But I think for those who are for those who are new to it, it can be weird. And I
Yeah.
mean, some things I've been done, man. Go outside, exercise, take a breath of fresh air. I have where I can work from the kitchen. or area, I can do that and go upstairs from where I'm at right now. But I think, and everybody can't just build an office if they're new to it. Just the challenges that we face have just come. But I can say that having an office has helped with that because I can close the door and concentrate and not have, you know what? Listen, I went to the store last week. You know what? Did you notice that noise in the car? You know what? Hey, look at this. The office helps with all that.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Well, to that point, for somebody who is new to working remotely, an employee, for as far as being overwhelmed by software, do you have any advice for how to begin that process to start adopting more and more applications, or whether or not you want to just start familiarizing yourself right away with as many things as possible?
Absolutely. I think for sure, start small. Start with just what you need. I was on a hearing a call today, and I think half of America, in hearing the professor, hello, can you hear me? I heard this like for 30 minutes. I'm like telling my daughter, tell him we can hear him. So I think one, for those who are newer, start with just the basics. You got to have a computer that works. Of course, PC is better, or Mac. You have to have a computer. I would say have a good monitor that works, so that's important. The hardware that you have, I think, is important to have that set up. Do you have good lighting? Do you feel good? Is it a computer with a lot of memory? Then now you have the applications on it. Most things are going to be browser-based, whether that's Chrome or IE or whatever Mac may use. And I think beyond that, you can pretty much do everything you need to do on the browser. Zoho One obviously works in the browser. So I would really start there. And then I think from there, slowly and gradually, find the tools you need that can make your job easier. Most any great software has a good help system, whether it's live or just the FAQ, frequently asked questions. And then last thing I'd say, Mickey, is that there's oftentimes you don't know what you don't know. And Google, sorry, Bing, you're good too, Bing, but most people are using Google, is a great place just to type in, how do I? How do I? How do I do this? How do I do that? Is there a better way? So I think between those four things, for those who are starting out, you will be okay.
Oh yeah, and through Google you'll find some YouTubes where you can watch.
Well, that's really what YouTube for sure. That's the source for everything.
That's how I learned to do everything.
That's right.
So that's from the employee side, but let's say you're a small business and up until now you've not really embraced not necessarily software, but not in remote work or having a remote workforce. Sure. Is there any advice you would give a business that is for the first time sort of moving digitally and supporting remote workers?
Absolutely. I think one is just overall you have to run your business. So try to understand what are the big pillars that it takes to run your business and what's that person's role. That's important because that's the overall thing. We need every 2 days to call 20 customers. You know what? Now that they're remote, they don't have to do that at 9:30 a.m., meaning in the context of what works for your company. So I think that's one. Define what are the expectations and what needs to be done. Two, people are home. Remember, in this kind of challenging situation, their kid is over there, their girlfriend's over there, their dog is barking there, and they're worried about can they even pay their bills. So my point being is that that's a second thing. I'm not Hispanic, but I like to pretend I am. So cuidad. I think that means slow down and be careful. I think. So cuidad a bit and be careful. And I think three, check in with people. Don't be like a helicopter parent like that. But hey, Mickey, it's 12 o'clock. Can we have a call maybe in 30 minutes to check in, see how things are going? How's your homework? How's your working from home experience? So those are a few things I could say, because for the employer, it is hard. You can't see people. And assuming you're a good leader, I know you're not looking at Mickey last month in his cubicle. Is he working? You're a good leader, so you weren't doing that anyhow. And I understand, but now Mickey being away, little nervousness.
Yeah.
But you have to grow and learn to now manage and lead and trust. I'm using Mickey, you know what I mean, because you're here from a distance. In the same way, Mickey has to trust and understand that I'm growing as the boss, as it were, as well. So I think it's a growth period for the employer or the person hiring.
Yeah, and I think you touched on this, but an important part of working remotely is even if you're not trying to accomplish a project right then and there, just being connected and staying connected to everyone you may interact with over the course of a work week is important. Checking in, like you said.
Yes.
And
it's so important.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, I think, I don't want to overstate this, but it does seem like remote work for some people can be kind of scary or isolating. And certainly there's the worry that you're only accountable to yourself. And so how do you stay motivated, and how do you sort of break through that feeling of isolation if this is new to you?
And Mickey, that is a great question, because that is, I think, one of the most hardest things about working from home. I hired one person a few years ago, and they said, Ramon, I can't do it. I can't sit in this bedroom. I can't sit in this little place and just work for 10 hours. I got to get a real job. I'm like, thanks. But so one, I think, Mickey, the fact that you're calling it out and saying it, I commiserate those hearing this message. It's tough. Now, maybe people like me and Mickey, if it's you, we can do it. We're used to it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's hard if you're not used to it. You don't hear chatter. You don't hear the bathroom door squeaking. You don't hear the heels on the steps. You don't hear all the laughter. So my point is, I think a few things. One, sign up for some online networking groups. One of my friend, Adrienne Miller, Adrienne's Network. She has a fantastic online networking event. Two, employer, see if you can do that. Every Tuesday, 5 p.m., we're going to meet over a water cooler over Zoho Meeting, whatever the online platform you may use. Yeah. So I think that, or other things, NABO, National Association of Women Business Owners, tons of nonprofit associations who are meeting online. So I think it's the second thing. Three, if you have people in your family who are with you, just get up and walk and say, hey, what's up? How are you? You want to play a quick game of Uno real quick? Whatever. So things like that, I think, are really help that. But it can be lonely if you're not used to it.
Yeah.
Put the radio on. Buy a fish. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of it is that there are a lot of distractions, and when you're in an office, you can make anything a sort of planned distraction, whether that's to sort of walk and maybe get a snack, but then you can schedule your day. It's easier that way, or at least there's some precedent for it. But when you're at home for the first time, you're figuring it all out. But I think that there's a bit of a learning curve, but people will ultimately get it.
And like you said, Mickey, a schedule does help. I mean, you'll have probably a schedule already in your day-to-day for your business, but let's pretend it's a slow week and kind of lonely. Mm-hmm. Put schedule, 2 p.m. push-ups, 3 p.m. walk outside. Or for that matter, 6 p.m.
Snack time.
Or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
So for you personally, do you find that it's easier to communicate with people through video, phone calls, or just messaging applications, just while working from home?
Great question. So video, clearly, you have that personal connectivity. You can laugh. You can see facial expressions. Can't be beat.
Yeah.
I love chat applications because it's in real time for questions that are yes, no. Now, if we're talking about how to save the planet Earth, email that to me, meaning not chat it to me. And so I think that phone calls do work, and those things are definitely good. I think it depends on how you work. For me personally, Mickey, I'm an email guy. I prefer an email. I'd rather have 1,000 emails than one quick 10-minute conversation. That's just me.
Yeah.
Because I can manage it in my own time. Because after that you can get into a whirlwind, a whirlhole, or whatever the word I'm trying to say, of calls and calls and calls. But listen, I think that's the other thing, Mickey. You just have to respect how people work. I know people. So Mickey tells me, Ramon, I'm a text guy. We got to figure it out. I have some people just texting me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm just not a texting person because I have to pick my phone up. So I think it's a blend.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just, in general, feel somehow intimidated by video. But when you can sort of get people together and see them, especially on a group project, collaborating with people, and everybody's working from home, I think it's actually kind of a great tool. But that's a personal choice. Somebody else may want something else. So, sure. Ramon, we are running out of time, but I wanted to ask you two sort of like quick, fun questions.
Okay.
So give me one word, if you can, to describe your work from home environment.
Highly efficient.
It is. How so?
Well, if you mean the environment, like all these things, I guess that maybe I was referring to maybe how I work within it.
Yeah.
Is highly efficient. But I'm not a feng shui type guy, so but for me, just my style, it's highly efficient. I'm very good at emails with calendars and updates. I check my email all the time. I have a zero inbox policy, so I can digest pretty well a stream of information. Also, because I force it to be my way.
Yeah.
Say if people start texting me too much and it gets serious, I'm like, stop. And we all depends on if I need them or they need me. In a humble context, but it depends on if it's the president asking you or I'm asking the president. Point being, then I'll say, hey, thanks for the text. Can we go to email? Now I can really work with you.
Have you found that you've become more efficient as the tools that you're using become more sophisticated, stronger? I mean, you've been working from remotely for a long time.
Absolutely. And the tools matter, but absolutely. Tool is everything. It depends on how you use it, how you know how to use it, how you're connecting it. So for sure, now you never let the tool dominate you.
Yeah.
But I think for sure, we are us knowledge workers. Most of our world, it's browser based. I bet you have 10 tabs open on your browser right now, I'm guessing. So that's the world we're in. So I think the more you can become efficient in that, the more you can know even simple things like bookmarking. There's a certain way to bookmark things efficiently in our web browser.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the last question I have is, if you had I guess it goes back to our point about staying focused. If you had one singular piece of advice for people on how to stay focused so that they can be efficient in a work from home situation, what would that be?
Sure, two things. One, get rid of all the tabs and updates on your computer that are popping up social media. Two, same thing on your phone. I've done this purposely. I won't show it, but I could show it. Well, take my phone, and I've adjusted the notifications so Facebook doesn't show me any red lights or indicators. Huh? What? Because that's how I act.
Yeah.
If I see it, distracted. So I've just taken off the indicator so I can manually now. I can still check it, but that, another red button. Sorry, Mickey. I gotta check it. I got it. So that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Remove the temptation.
Exactly.
Well, Ramon, thank you so much for talking with us today and for giving us your wisdom. I think it will be much appreciated by people, especially those working remotely for the first time. So thank you again.
It has been a pleasure. I like you. I like Zoho and the team. So thank you for the opportunity. You're most welcome.
Oh, that's awesome.